People seem to think that we have an infinite number of cameras to be at every race with every team at all times, and we don't, so sometimes we miss stuff, sometimes we get stuff that people don't see coming, and I think that's the beauty of the show, is it comes out every year, and people are like, oh my god, I didn't expect to see that, or why didn't they have that? But we try our best every year.
To be a Formula One driver, you need to be able to switch yourself off.
Hi Paul, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
I'm great. I have to tell you that I've been excited since I knew that I was going to talk to you, because I'm a huge fan of the show, huge fan of Formula One, of Checo, of course. And what I like about this show is that, unlike any other show that makes the script happen, you make the script as things happen. So I wanted to ask you, what is the day like for you and your crew in race day, and even now that the season's about to start?
Yeah, it's very the Formula One paddock's a very intense place for everybody, and I think that we're trying to make this show, against the backdrop of a full kind of racing season and the team politics and all that kind of stuff. So we're always it's a tricky show to make, because it's not a world that necessarily lends itself to lots of camera crews and lots of, people kind of rolling around. So, we have to be very kind of focused and very specific about, the races that we're with certain teams and the drivers that we're focusing on. So just a lot of communication with all the teams and the team principals and the drivers to put ourselves in the best position to try and tell the best stories every year.
And that's actually my next question. Do you know ahead who you're going to be focusing in, or do you play it as it happens? How does that happen?
It's a bit of both. We sort of, this time of year, as you're, waiting for testing and you're looking ahead to the season, we start to think about, okay, what stories might happen this year. So you look and you know which drivers are out of contract, you know where there's little tensions within the team. And so we try and map out as best as we can a sort of a skeleton idea of what 10 episodes could kind of look like. But I think the great thing and the crazy thing about this sport is you never know what's going to happen next. You genuinely, there's so many moments that you see across the year that you could never predict or you could never second guess. And I think that's the beauty of this show. And that's the challenge of making this show is, as a TV producer, you want to try and be in control of everything. And here you've just got this beast of a sport and and personalities that you have no control over. You have no control over, really. And so, we really, I guess, try to hang on the coattails of the sport and what's happening and hope that we get to the end of the season and that we've got enough, we've caught enough of those stories to be able to make a compelling series every year. And I think, with season 6 now coming out, I think we've done a pretty good job of it so far. And I think, people seem to think that we have an infinite number of cameras to be at every race with every team at all times, and we don't, so sometimes we miss stuff, sometimes we get stuff that people don't see coming, and I think that's the beauty of the show, is it comes out every year, and people are like, oh my god, I didn't expect to see that, or why didn't they have that? And we try our best every year.
Ready? Physically, mentally.
Your position is under threat.
Fighting between teammates.
I'm fucking done with this.
Formula One is brutal.
I used to think Formula One was not dramatic till I found myself crying in the Mexico Grand Prix because of Checo. I was like, I don't want to be into this sport anymore. It's so hard. Definitely. And one thing I love about it is that it always surprises us, like season through season. We get to see things that we just found out about. Like, for example, all the announcements that happen right before the season is released. How does that work? Like,
the paddock, the paddock is like a hotbed of rumor at all times. You start the season and you're hearing rumors of, oh, this driver's going to go here and this driver's going to go there, or this team principal, whatever it is. And you sort of, you have to listen, you have to take it with a pinch of salt, you have to, wait and see what's true and what's not. I mean, some of the rumors I've heard over the years, you wouldn't believe that never came to anything, But I think that I think if you watch the season, this year, and obviously, this season is about the season that's just gone, and a lot of those announcements that you've alluded to have happened after the season. But I think you can see within the episodes, I think you can just see, little kind of hints at what might be about to come. And I think that's kind of testament to our crews, that they are in those rooms, they are seeing those conversations. And I think, I think when you see the episodes this year, you may not be as surprised at kind of what's happened in the off season.
You should write a book. I would definitely buy it with all these anecdotes. I think it's crazy. And actually, I know, like you just said, this is not scripted. You do the best of it. You make the most of it from what you get. But do you feel like season through season, you sort of know the drivers, because a lot of them have been here for a while, so you kind of know the role they are playing?
I would say yes and no. I mean, we definitely know, we know the drivers well now. They know us well. They know how we kind of work. And I think, but I think, every year we don't sit down and say, okay, Danny Rick's a hero and so-and-so's a villain. And so, because, at the heart of it is that racing season, and you're never quite sure who's going to do what and who's going to do better than you expect, and who's not going to maybe perform as much as they wanted to. So we have to keep a really open mind with it, because at the heart of it is a sport that we're not in control of. And as a TV producer, normally you want to be as in control as many elements as you can, and here we are. We joke that we're trying to wrestle this bear of a sport to the ground every year, and just when you think you've got a handle on it, it seems to get up and do something really unpredictable and really kind of different. So, I think we'd be foolish to go in every year with a preconceived notion of what role people were going to play and that stuff. And like I say, ultimately it's a docuseries. So, we have to adapt to, the nuances of the sport and how people do every year.
Just so you know, this is my favorite time of the season, right after the season is over in Formula One, because that makes me suffer. So thank you so much for the show.
Thank you.
When you get into that car, the noise goes away.